the planets revolve around the sun? Yes, but not the way science explains it today. In the physical, three-dimensional model, planets like Earth do revolve around the visible sun, but according to Spalding, that sun is not the center of everything. It is merely an expression of the central cosmic force, a light reflection, a visible mirror of a higher source. You could say we revolve around the bulb, the lamp that is lit by an even greater source of energy. The visible sun is a portal, a physical gateway for the power of the central sun. It has its function as a nourishing giver of energy, but it is not the source of life itself. So, planets revolve around the visible sun on the physical level. And remember, all universes in truth, together with our solar system, also orbit around one of the 91,000 clusters around the great central sun. The true center of creation, in the higher teachings. This means the movement around the sun is an experience cycle within the physical plane. Planets appear to revolve around the sun because we are trapped in linear perception. But in truth, the sun does not hold the planets captive, but drives them from within. The planets follow patterns of consciousness, vibrational fields, not just gravity alone. According to Spalding, the true central sun is not bound to visible orbit or measurement. It is the nucleus of life that breathes purpose into all form. Did you know that our sun is a great portal and gives birth to children, children born from the central sun, and that planets are the children of the sun? Just like everything that exists is created by this immense, intelligent, all-encompassing light, everything arises from the central sun, and everything is infused with this light. The real sun is what he calls the central sun, or divine central sun, the heart of creation, pure consciousness. The true energy of the sun comes from spiritual light, not nuclear fusion. Planets are born from the great central sun. There is a great central sun, a spiritual source, not a physical star, which has 91 universes orbiting it in 91,000 clusters, just like atoms around a nucleus, with the body as the cluster. This central sun is 91,000 times larger than all universes combined. From its core arise nebulas, which form into planets through a process of concentration, vibration, and lawful ordering. This does not happen by chance or explosions, but by intelligent cosmic law. Are planets children of the sun? Yes, the sun gives birth to planets, literally. In the book, Spalding describes how. Here comes Spalding's explanation, step by step. Each planet arises from an outburst of energy from the central sun. For example, first Neptune was born, then Uranus, Saturn, etc. Each birth was an expulsion of a kind of etheric plasma from the sun, which corresponds with our current scientific findings, which then gained an orbit, attracted what it needed from cosmic substance, and solidified into a planet. In spiritual terms, the sun is thus the mother of the planets, but also the father, for in esoteric traditions, the sun is androgynous, both creating and carrying. The difference between Spalding and science is, science believes that a nebula suddenly emerged, and also just so happened to be in orbit, and from that nebula a planet coincidentally formed. Science does not say the nebula manifested from the sun, they say suddenly from nothing. We continue with Spalding's cosmological explanation. Quote from the book, "The Masters of the Far East, It is a moving point of pure light, the spark of life. Chapter 7. How is a planet born? Step 1. The great central sun breathes. Energy out. Everything begins with the great central sun of the universe, the center of 91 spinning universes. When this sun builds up enough pulsation of energy, it must radiate it or it would devour itself. Step 2. A nebula is radiated. From that pulsation comes a gigantic mass of glowing, intelligent energy, a nebula. This nebula is filled with all elements in dissolved or vibrating state, the aqueous substance. At the center of the nebula appears a point of pure white light, a new central sun or seed cell of a future planet. Step 3. The nebula condenses into an atomic core. The nebula begins to contract around that point of light. Vibrations of cosmic order begin organizing the substance into an orbital pattern, like a cell or atomic structure. This becomes the cradle orbit, the innermost path around the sun, as with Neptune first, then Uranus, etc. Step 4. Elements form and solid matter. Through internal pressure and heat, the dissolved substances in the nebula condense into gases, liquids, solids. A primary rock structure forms, the first crust of the planet. As that crust cools and solidifies, the spherical object becomes stable and self-supporting. Step 5. Water arises. The planet becomes life-bearing. From the interaction of gases, water emerges. The atmosphere begins to form. The planet becomes a breathing organism, ready to carry life. Step 6. The nebula becomes a planet. Once the object has a solid crust, atmosphere, and a self-sustaining orbit, it is officially a planet in the system. It now begins its own life cycle, born, growing, evolving, and eventually dying or living forever. I'll return to this later. Whenever a new planet is born, planets push each other outward. The older planets are pushed into wider orbits to make space. Here's an example. Neptune comes first, then Uranus. Neptune is pushed outward, Saturn is born, pushes Uranus further, and so on, until Earth takes her place. Each birth is accompanied by tremendous force, pushing other planets out of orbit. For Neptune, that push was devastating because the planet ended up in a low, disturbing energy due to the beings that lived there, and the orbital shift wiped out all life on Neptune. What drives this creation? Not chance, but the intelligent law that governs all things in perfect order. Each birth is precisely on time, fully controlled, and aimed at the expansion of consciousness. The sun is the wheel of consciousness. The sun radiates life impulses, like a heartbeat. Each planet receives according to its own rhythm and evolves in vibration. The sun is not just a star, but a dimensional breakthrough of higher light into the physical world. Is sunlight life-giving? Note, without the sun, there is no physical life. This is true both scientifically, such as for photosynthesis, warmth and energy, and esoterically. Sunlight in this view is a carrier of information, not just of warmth and radiation. According to Spalding, the sun does not merely send out light, but also vibrations of consciousness that guide and sustain life on Earth. In Native American, Egyptian, and Gnostic teachings, the sun was seen as the visible face of the invisible divine. The aqueous substance, the source of all matter. Everything arises from the aqueous substance, a subtle, intelligent energy containing all elements in dissolved form. Through vibration and intent, thoughts, it crystallizes into matter, planets, bodies. The birth of planets, in order. The planets are born as children of the sun. Each new planet pushes the existing planets farther outward. Here follows the events according to the masters. Neptune, first planet, begins in the innermost orbit. Life emerges there. Uranus moves Neptune to outer orbit. Saturn is born, pushes Uranus farther. Jupiter, massive burst, causes destruction of Neptune's inhabitants. Mars is born. Jupiter gains its satellites, moons. Earth is born. Mars is pushed outward. Venus follows Earth, Mercury, last visible planet, innermost orbit, invisible ninth, not yet materialized, but felt through energy. Who drives this? The universal intelligence, or the divine law. Spalding calls it the great cause, the primal creative principle, universal intelligence. According to him, it is an intelligent, living, all-pervading force that expresses itself in all things, from sun to cell, is not a personal being with will, but an absolute, conscious force that creates by law, vibration, and purpose. In the previous episode, you observed step by step how the sun gives birth to planets, and how the sun, this intelligent light, gives life to all that exists. The sun, creator of life, light and consciousness. The sun is the mother of all life on earth. In every esoteric and physical system it is said, without the sun there is no life. Without sunlight there is no photosynthesis, no oxygen, no breathing, no human. Without solar warmth, there is no climate, no growth, no food. The sun is literally the source of warmth, light, life, movement, consciousness. Even our body is essentially condensed solar energy, stored via food, plants, and cellular respiration. According to Baird T. Spalding, everything, including humanity, is born from the sun, the light, the Christ. In his teachings he says, planets are born from the sun, literally emitted masses of vibration, shaped by spiritual intelligence. We are children of light, sons and daughters of that divine central sun. The central sun is divine intelligence, and each local sun is a gateway or representation of that great light. So, you, I, the trees, the animals, everything that lives originated from sunlight, lives by sunlight, and returns to that same source. Everything is thus created from this intelligent light. Let's explore this further. How light, thought, and form build the universe. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was light. This is a free translation of spiritual texts from many cultures. Without light, you cannot see anything, literally and energetically. Light is what makes visible everything you see. You see because light falls on it or radiates from it. An object emits photons, light particles, or reflects them from another source, like the sun or a lamp. Without light, no image, no color, no visible world. in total darkness. Everything still exists, but it does not exist in your awareness, because you cannot perceive it. In short, if something does not emit or reflect light, you cannot see it. In human experience, it does not exist. Thoughts are light in action. Every form in this world first came from an idea. An idea is a thought, is a vibration, is energy, is light in consciousness. A house where people live started with a thought and a blueprint. A book started with a thought, an inner vision. Even you as a human being were formed from an energetic blueprint. Thoughts have frequency. The higher the vibration, the purer, the more it aligns with the light of the universe. Everything you can imagine, you emit energetically, and that eventually shapes reality. Thoughts are the building blocks of creation. These are wisdoms of, among others, Spalding, Steiner, Buddha, Jesus, and other masters. Even matter emits light, always. What we call matter or stuff is essentially condensed energy. According to Einstein, E is mc2, matter is energy, and energy moves, thus radiates. Every object emits a subtle field of energy. This is also called an aura or an electromagnetic field. Some people, especially children, animals, or sensitive souls, can perceive these aura layers as colors, warmth, or vibrations. Everything is thus light in another form, condensed, slowed down, visible or invisible. Even the dark matter scientists speak of, about 85% of the universe, has an effect on visible matter, which means there is interaction, thus vibration, thus energy, thus light in another state. Why do our eyes adapt to darkness? Your eyes adapt by enlarging your pupils, but your brain also plays a role. It learns to see with less light. If you stay long enough in the dark, you'll notice you can distinguish shapes again. This is because your brain begins to process light differently and sometimes reconstructs an image with minimal data. This shows that seeing is more than just your eyes. It is a conscious interpretation of light. Mindfold techniques and beyond. There are schools, such as in India, Mexico, some parts of Russia and in England, where children learn to see with their third eye or brain activity. This means students learn to see without using their eyes, but to see with their brain. This is often taught through methods like mindfold training, where children perceive shapes, colors, or even text with a blindfold. The brain reads the energy of objects and translates this into visual information, even with the eyes closed. What they are actually perceiving is light information without physical eyes, with a form of intuitive or energetic vision. This is not magic, but a different way of working with the light field that surrounds everything. Everything that exists because it is seen by consciousness. Without perception, there is no existence. Without light, there is no perception. Without thought, there is no form. Without consciousness, there is no perceiver. The universe is one vast field of light, infinite consciousness experiencing itself through forms, thoughts, objects, people, through you.